Traditionally, it has been the Hong Kong trained horses that have dominated the Longines sprint. However, Takayuki Yasuda will present two of his short course stars, Lord Kanaloa and mare Curran Chan, to try and win Japan the event for the first time. Singapore star Super Easy will be searching for luck and improvement following a sprint trial sixth. And Australia will chair one of the race favourites, Sea Siren, a three-time Group 1 winner in her homeland. For Hong Kong, there remain questions. Can Flying Blue, Captain Sweet, Leading City Admiration and the informed Cerise Cherry lift a notch or two? Has Joy and Fun got one more supreme performance in him? Is Time After Time on the cusp of being the new 1200 metre king? Or will Lucky 9 simply be too good once more, go back to back and provide Brett Preble reason to have a good time and celebrating his fourth win in the Hong Kong sprint?
Hong Kong trained horses have been the dominant force in the Group 1 Longines Hong Kong International Sprint and look likely to be again this year, with the majority of horses coming from Hong Kong. Lucky 9, the biggest flag bearer.
It's an undeniable fact that Hong Kong are very hard to beat, but I think it's fair to say this year the Hong Kong sprinting ranks generally are not as strong as they have been in previous seasons. But Lucky 9 has been our best sprinter, and now in the absence of Little Bridge, who was scratched on Thursday morning, Lucky 9 would sort of rate as the best, but Time After Time is very interesting.
He's on the way up, isn't it? Time After Time. His run in the lead-up race was fantastic. But I agree with you, Darren. I mean, you know, Hong Kong have dominated the race for a while, but we're not as strong this year.
I think that's got to give the Australians some hope with Sea Siren this year.
Well, Australian sprinters are a force to be reckoned with in most parts of the world, but here in Hong Kong in the sprint they have struggled. Valvalon twice winning the sprint, but that was quite a few years ago. And Sea Siren, the mare trained by John O'Shea, Clint, here this year to bolster Australia's record in the race, and by the looks of the way she worked earlier in the week, she's every chance.
Yes, it looks fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Let's take a look at some of the workers here, and Lucky 9 will... This was just an easy piece, but Casper is delighted. We'll hear from an interview from him a little later, and he's really pleased with the way. Now, I think Curran Chan's arrived a much stronger horse. Left on the tarmac last year. She looks brilliant. She looks a lot stronger, and I like the way Lord Kanaloa worked there. I think the Japanese are going to provide quite a bit of interest here, and Lord Kanaloa's drawn nicely. I think Admiration looks very well within himself. He's glowing the coat. He's still, of course, an entire, but, you know, he takes a bit of racing generally from year to year. And I think that this guy will definitely run a nice race, but it needs to probably improve a little bit. Time After Time galloped on Thursday morning for Douglas White. He was noted as being a very good piece of work, and he looks really well. He looks ready to do the job. Here is Sea Siren. Now, she's had two solid hit-outs this week for John O'Shea. She's really flown in the mornings. I think she's arrived exceptionally well. I think if you like Sea Siren on form, you'd be really happy with the way that she has worked and the way she looks going into the race.
Yeah, that was very encouraging. She worked again this morning, but obviously that was the good hit out there on Tuesday.
Fortunately, Lucky 9 not faring too well in the barrier draw.
Certainly is. I'll be interested to see how Clint's marked Lucky 9 on the speed map as we take a look at that. Drawn out in the visitors' draw, really, Clint. It's going to make things tough. I'm actually going to leave him out of the 4 because of it. I think he's up against it.
This is, it's really completely changed the complexion of this race. We've got a lot of pace in the race. You've got Leading City can kick up, Lord Kanaloa, Super Easy to go forward. I don't think Sea Siren's going to have an easy time to get in, never mind Lucky 9, and I think they'll have to go back with Lucky 9 because I can't see, unless they really string out Lucky 9 getting in, there's just too much pace underneath. And as a result, I've got Time After Time marked favourite over Sea Siren. There's a little issue there. Will Cassidy be able to get Sea Siren her out? Apparently she's got good gate speed. Can he get her out and get her across until one-off spot? But, you know, Cerise Cherry and Time After Time are going to get the gun runs, and that's why I've got them a little shorter than overseas markets.
One of the key lead-up races, of course, is the Jockey Club Sprint, and Lucky 9 couldn't have been more impressive in winning that day.
Yes, he gave them a start. Casper Founds, I think, on the day said he had him about 85% right, so there's going to be improvement. But the eyes really here on Time After Time. He's run a very strong final section. This was his first go in Group 2 company. He's been a good horse leading up to this, and he's going to be a big chance, Brett, now that he's come up to the gate. Absolutely,
Darren. I mean, we spoke before briefly about, you know, the lack of depth that we've got here in Hong Kong this year, but Time After Time trained to the minute for this race. And Cerise Cherry, let's not forget, he drew barrier 14 in that lead-up, and he's really found form of late. He's drawn favourably in the big race, so I think he's some hope in it as well.
He's as tough as teak. Lucky 9, that is, his trainer, Casper Founds.
Here with Casper Founds, who's got Lucky 9 in the Longines Hong Kong Sprint. Cass, what is it with you and barriers?
It's incredible, Clint. You know, I just come back here and every week just cop it right up the lemonade and sauce. But anyway, mate, no, it's one of those things, you know. We just got to see how good this horse is now. I can't have him any better. He's the best he's ever been.
Really?
Ever. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, he was impressive last time. He obviously, you know, he's come back after a bit of a break, but you said again in that race he wasn't fully wound up and he still did the job.
Did the job, you know. Since then, I could not be happier, mate. You know, he's into his grub really well. He's coming back off the track. He's got a lot of spring in his step. We gave him a very easy workout on the grass this morning, and you know, Brett, he says, mate, you can't have many better. So, you know, it's unfortunate we've got gate 12, but we've been there before in the past and managed to get good results. So let's hope we can. You know, do it this time.
Firstly, you must be really happy with time after time drawing gate 3.
Yeah, got the gun gate. You know, Douglas has got a lot of options there from that gate, and his work this morning was really good. I put him from the 1800 down the back, and White came in and he said you didn't have to do any more. He'd already done what he needed to do over the weekend, and he said he'd come back a much fitter horse than what he was when he ran the other day. From that point of view, you know, we're going into the race full of confidence.
Time after time, a horse that has long promised to win a Group 1, and it may well be this Sunday. His trainer John Moore brimming with confidence. Not so Casper Founds though, after the barrier draw with Lucky 9. Will Casper be drinking lemonade or maybe champagne after the sprint?
It sounded like there might have been some champagne going around there at the barrier draw this morning. But I think it's going to be a flip-flop in the run. There we saw time after time giving Lucky 9 about 3 lengths turning for home. But there's an opportunity now for time after time to possibly be in front of Lucky 9 tomorrow.
What about some of the other horses, the also-rans from the Jockey Club Sprint, the likes of Flying Blue, Super Easy, the Singapore horse in particular? What did you make of his performance? He probably had excuses.
I was saying Super Easy pulled a shoe, and I think Joe Moreira was suggesting that could have cost him a couple of lengths. I'm a bit more concerned with him scoping with blood. That's my biggest concern with Super Easy.
He's drawn awkwardly and goes forward. He could be 3 wide, no cover quite easily. I think getting back to Captain Sweet as well, just one real serious piece of work and did have a bacteria infection going back a few weeks. So Captain Sweet's got a good barrier, but has had a few little issues as well.
Yeah, the 4 we highlighted there, I think probably will struggle a little bit. Captain Sweet might be the one who's got the draw that could do something.
Joy and Fun is a horse that's been absent from the scene for a while. Haven't seen the horse race, of course, since the King's Stand in June, but came back with this nice trial recently.
Well, I wish the connections well. He's been a real stalwart of Hong Kong racing. He's travelled the world. He's only beaten ahead in the race last year, but he's had more problems. The setbacks he's had, he's won his trial there over Victory Master. I guess he's done what's expected, but it's going to be a big ask for him to resume and be as competitive as he was last year.
Yeah, I agree. He's been a great money spinner. If he runs a race, you know, and picks up some prize money, it'll be an effort. That's for sure.
One of Australia's leading trainers, John O'Shea, arrived in Hong Kong on Monday night and he hit the ground running straight out to track work the next morning to see his great mare Sea Siren work the house down.
Yeah, look, she worked great and we're really happy with her. So she's had a good day today and you know, just got to keep ticking her over going into Saturday now.
Did she lose much condition on the trip over?
No, none. No. It's exactly the same weight she was at Flemington.
You know, she brings in some really solid form from down under.
Yeah, well, look, she's won 3 Group 1 weight for age races and she's only lightly raced and she's a progressive big mare and you know, she's at the top of her game. She's not here on tired legs and you know, it's been a focus of us to bring her here, you know, at the top of her game, so hopefully it'll pay off.
Now, tactically, she seems quite versatile. I mean, does she race handy or in a race pattern?
Yeah, she's got brilliant gate speed and she can draw sort of somewhere close to the rail. She'll have herself right on the bunny and give herself a chance to win the race.
Coming off a last start defeat down the Flemington Straight, a Melbourne Cup week in the Patnack Classic, but beaten by a very good horse in Mental.
And Jim Cassidy's been with her all the way. Unfortunately, now that Little Bridge has been scratched out of the race, it was going to be an opportunity for Zach Purton to ride against his father-in-law, but that will have to wait for another day.
It will. Having said that, of course, she was able to defeat Mental at Moonee Valley in the Manikato. So, you know, it's a tip-top performance by her. And then obviously they went to Flemington and ran in the Patinack, and it was reversed around. But as you said, Joe, I think Mental looks a serious horse down there in Australia, so this is good form.
Well, she can win it, no doubt. I just think from gate 7, it's just a little tricky. You know, I think early in the race, she's got to get her out and get her in a good spot because there's a lot of speed underneath her, so it won't be easy.
Curran Chan's one that jumped very well last year, and a lot of her races in Japan, Curran Chan, she ends up sitting 3 wide, no cover, and that was the case in the Sprinter Stakes, and Lord Kanaloa beat her this day. But I think Curran Chan did all the donkey work.
She'll be doing it again, I think. I think she'll be caught wide again. I can't see any other way from it because she's got that pattern that she goes forward. But once again, she's got, at least she's going to have, obviously, Sea Siren amongst a couple of others that are going to sort of hold her out.
And over the years, Japan have brought a lot of sprinters here and they haven't been good enough. But Curran Chan and I think Lord Kanaloa might just have the goods. I mean, he hasn't missed a place yet, Lord Kanaloa. He drew barrier 16 there and was able to get up and win, and has drawn favourably. So I think they've got a say in this race, the Japanese.
The sprint this year, intriguing, especially after the barrier draw. How do you see it panning out?
I flipped once that I was going to go with Lucky 9, but when Time After Time drew the 3, I think he's got a real chance to capture this, because I just think he'll be a length or 2 in front of Lucky 9 in the run. Curran Chan, I think if she gets the right one, she's going to be a genuine chance, and then the Australian filly Sea Siren.
I think the Japanese might win the sprint this year with Lord Kanaloa. He's drawn well. He looks a real up-and-comer for me, and I'm happy to go with him. For the minors, I think that's a bit of a task. Time After Time's definitely got to go in. I've got him in there for second. I'm going to throw in Cerise Cherry, who's drawn very well, and I think he's a chance. And Sea Siren, I can't leave her out.
I think Time After Time can do the job this time around, so I'm happy enough to go with Time After Time over Cerise Cherry, who I think could be one at odds that'll run a big race. Sea Siren, the critical part for her will be that first 100 metres, like I said, and then Lucky 9 from that gate. I think he's going to find it very tough.
Some big names on the honour roll of the Group 1 Hong Kong International Sprint. Silent Witness. Remember those heady days?
Oh, they were the days. That was back in a golden era now when you reflect back on it all.
Tony Cruz never tires of reflecting on those wonderful moments with Silent Witness as we take this break on Racing 360.
We're all very nervous, but what's leading to the first international race was that the horse, as it was running and winning, our confidence on this horse just grew bigger and bigger, and each time he runs, he seemed to be winning it easier and easier. So when it comes to the international, and obviously my owner and Mrs. and Mrs. Archie da Silva, they're all very kind of nervous. And I remember when National Currency was the main opposition, he was the best South African horse, and Mike de Kock thinks he should be Silent Winners, and that really upset Archie da Silva, the owner of the Silent Winners. And I said, Archie, stay cool, man. I mean, the horse, we are so confident about our horse. I'm sure we're going to beat him.
Witness, what a champion! Wins at a length the National Currency.
International race, we're not as nervous as the first one, because we believe we'll be even better than the first time he wins, you know. He's a type of horse that has a lot of early speed and high cruising speed. Anything that takes him on early would die, you know, so, and he can kick home strong too. So,
the world champion!
Well, you know, this guy must have done something good. He must be sent from above, you know. To have a horse like that, you know, the horse really literally, he trained me instead. The horse trained me to train him. So, he just grew more and more confident each time, you know.